Hey, listen up. Everything you cling to, every single thing, is slipping through your fingers right this second. I'm not just talking about your favorite coffee mug or that dream job. I mean your very sense of who you are. As someone who's walked this earth for over 7 decades, studied the Buddhist teachings and seen life's fleeting nature firsthand, I'm here to share a truth that hit me like a thunderbolt. The Three Signatas, impermanence, suffering, and not self, are the keys to unlocking freedom from pain. Let me take you on this journey straight from my heart, with lessons I've learned from years of watching life unfold. Now you might be wondering, how deep does this rabbit hole go? Let's peel back another layer. Why do we keep chasing things that vanish like morning mist? I've sat with this question under ancient oaks, meditated in quiet corners of my old home, and realized it's not just about losing stuff. It's about how we're wired to resist the truth of change. Picture this. A young man I knew, let's call him Tom, spent years building a tech empire in Silicon Valley. He had it all: fancy cars, a penthouse, the works. But when the market crashed in 2008, so did his world. He told me, tears in his eyes, "I thought I was untouchable." That's the trap of ignoring impermanence. We build castles in our minds, thinking they'll stand forever, but life's got other plans. And here's the kicker. The Buddha didn't just point this out, he gave us a way to stop the heartbreak. Stick with me, because understanding Anicca, Dukkha, and Anatta isn't some dusty philosophy. It's a lifeline for anyone tired of suffering. Let's dive into what these truths mean, how they show up in your daily grind, and why they're the most practical wisdom you'll ever hear. First, let's lay the groundwork. The Three Signatas, or Tilakkhana in Pali, are the bedrock of the Buddhist teachings, the lens through which we see reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. Anicca, impermanence, means nothing lasts. Not your body, not your thoughts, not even that perfect sunset you snapped last summer. Dukkha, suffering or dissatisfaction, says that because things don't last, our clinging to them brings pain. And Anatta, not self, blows the lid off the idea of a permanent me, showing that what we call self is just a fleeting mix of conditions. I've chewed on these truths for decades, and I can tell you they're not abstract mumbo-jumbo. They're as real as the arthritis in my knees. Let me paint you a picture. Back in the 70s, I ran a small hardware store in a quiet American town. Every day, I'd see folks come in stressed about fixing a leaky pipe or a broken fence, thinking if they just got this one thing right, life would be perfect. But the pipe would leak again, the fence would rot, and their frustration would bubble up. I saw Anicca in every rusty nail. Nothing stays fixed. Dukkha was in their furrowed brows, the endless cycle of wanting stability in a world that won't give it. And Anatta? Well, I started noticing I wasn't the same me who opened that store. My temper softened, my dreams shifted. Who was I really if I kept changing? Let's break this down even further. Start with Anicca. The Buddha taught that all conditioned phenomena, everything made up of parts, causes, and effects, are impermanent. That's not just spiritual talk, it's science. Think about your own body. Every 7 years, nearly every cell in you is replaced. The you reading this isn't the you from a decade ago, biologically speaking. Then there's the everyday stuff. I remember my old Chevy, a beauty from '65. I polished it weekly, treated it like family. But rust crept in, the engine sputtered, and one day, it was just a heap of memories towed to the junkyard. That's superficial impermanence. Go deeper, personal impermanence. I've watched my own hair gray, my eyesight dim. My wife, bless her soul, passed 10 years back. Holding her hand as she slipped away, I felt the raw truth. Nothing stays. And then there's subtle impermanence, the kind you don't notice until you sit still. Meditate for 10 minutes and watch your thoughts. 1 second you're planning dinner, the next you're worrying about bills. Not a single thought holds still. The Buddha said, All formations are transient. He wasn't kidding. This isn't just about loss, it's about why we suffer when we deny this truth. Studies back this up. A 2019 paper from the University of California found that people who resist change report higher stress levels than those who adapt. Clinging to permanence isn't just painful, it's against nature's flow. Now let's pivot to a twist that might shake you up. If everything's impermanent, why do some folks seem at peace while others drown in misery? Here's the deeper cut. It's not change itself that breaks us, it's our refusal to see it. I knew a woman, Maria, a devout Catholic turned Buddhist, who lived near me in rural Pennsylvania. She lost her son in a car accident at 19. Most would have shattered, and she did grieve hard. But she told me after months of meditation, I saw that holding on to him as mine was my pain. He was a beautiful moment, not a possession. She embraced Anicca and it eased her dukkha. That's the shift. Seeing impermanence doesn't just explain suffering, it shows the way out. Think about your own life. What are you gripping so tight it hurts? A relationship on the rocks? A career that's not what it was? I've been there. In my 50s, I lost my store to a bigger chain. I raged for months, thinking that place was me. But sitting with the Buddha's words, I saw it was just a chapter, not my core. Here's where curiosity kicks in. If letting go worked for Maria, for me, could it work for you? What if the pain isn't the change, but the fight against it? Let's unpack this, because the connection between Anicca, dukkha, and Anatta is where the real magic, real freedom, lies. This is the heart of it, the climax of what the Buddha laid bare. Dukkha isn't just suffering. It's the gnawing dissatisfaction of expecting permanence in a world of flux. Why does it sting so bad? Because we're hardwired to crave stability. Look at modern life. Social media's got us chasing likes, thinking a viral post defines us. But check the stats. A 2021 study by Harvard showed that heavy social media use correlates with anxiety, especially when validation fades. That's dukkha in action, chasing a high that's gone in a click. I felt it too. After my wife passed, I clung to her old scarf, smelling it for comfort. But the scent faded, and so did the illusion of holding her. Pain came from wanting her presence to stay frozen in time. The Buddha's genius was linking this to anatta, not self. He said, what is impermanent is not worth calling mine or myself. Think about it. If your body changes, your mind shifts, your roles evolve, where's the solid you? I've wrestled with this. I used to think I was the store owner, then the widower. But strip those labels and what's left? A meditation teacher once guided me through this with a flame analogy. Picture a candle burning. The flame looks steady, but it's not the same flame from one second to the next. It's fed by wax, air, heat, a dance of conditions. So are we. My thoughts, my body, even my grief for my wife, they're flames flickering on causes, not a fixed me. This isn't just mind-bending, it's liberating. When Tom, that tech guy, hit rock bottom, I shared this with him. He started meditating, seeing his identity as CEO wasn't him. It was a role, a flame that burned out. He told me, I stopped fighting the loss. I started rebuilding, not as the big shot, but as someone new. That's the power of anatta. Research supports this too. A 2020 study in the Journal of Buddhist Ethics found that mindfulness practices focusing on non-self reduce attachment-related stress by 40% in participants. So here's the punchline: suffering isn't inevitable. It's born from ignorance of impermanence and a phantom self. See through that illusion and the chains loosen. I've watched it happen in my own heart, in quiet moments staring at the dawn. The world changes, I change, and there's no me to cling to. Just flow. Can you feel that shift? It's not loss, it's release. Now, let's lighten the load with a little chuckle, because even the heaviest truths have a funny side. You ever notice how even your go-to comfort food loses its charm? I've got this thing for apple pie, been baking it since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Used to think a slice could fix any bad day. But a few years back, I overdid it at Thanksgiving, ate half a pie in one sitting, and couldn't stomach the smell for months. That's impermanence sneaking into my kitchen, reminding me even the sweetest joys don't stick around forever. It's a gentle nudge, isn't it? Life's like that pie, delicious for a spell, but you can't hoard the taste. I've laughed at myself over this, sitting on my porch watching leaves fall. Same with pain too. I remember a knee injury from my 60s, hurt so bad I swore I'd never walk right again. But time passed, therapy helped, and now I'm strolling fine. Happy or sad, it's all a passing breeze. I've started whispering to myself, this too shall pass, whether I'm grinning or groaning. Try it next time you're stuck on something, your favorite show ending, a fight with a friend. Picture it as a slice of pie, tasty or sour, but never permanent. It's oddly comforting, like an old friend patting your back. And here's the beauty, accepting this doesn't make life dull, it makes every bite, every moment sharper. I've sat with young folks at Buddhist retreats, sharing this pie story, and their eyes light up. One gal said, I've been obsessing over a breakup, but if it's just a slice I can let it go. That's the magic. Seeing life's fleeting nature isn't gloomy, it's a quiet giggle at how we fuss over shadows. So, next time you're hung up on something, remember my apple pie. Smile at it. Let it pass. You've got more flavors waiting. Alright, let's wrap this up with the heart of the matter. The Three Signatas, impermanence, suffering, not self, aren't just old teachings. They're a roadmap out of pain. I've lived them, from losing my store to mourning my wife, and I've found peace by seeing life as it is. A dance of change, not a thing to grip. The Buddha said, when one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. Start small, watch a leaf fall, notice a mood shift, and ask, where's the me in this? That's the path. I wish you health, happiness, and the clarity to see these truths in this very life. If my stories and these insights struck a chord, please like and subscribe. Your support keeps me sharing from the heart. And hey, let's chat. Drop a comment below. What's one thing in your life right now that's changing, and how are you handling it? I'm all ears.